Hello family, welcome back to Carolliving. We are continuing our conversation.
Yes.
We spoke about what makes up Emma. He told us the rocks, the stones, the concrete, the cement, in my engineering language, that make up this whole human being who to many of us is put together and he's making right decisions in different directions to better him and those around him.
Sure.
For the community he serves, for the family he leads, and the partner he's definitely in partnership, walking this journey of marriage and building a legacy. He spoke about legacy, guys. When God sees us, he sees a generation.
Sure.
I never forget those words. I was once listening to this church, someone, of course, we always have this visionary, like the periodic that builds your entire year.
Yes.
When God sees us, he sees a generation.
Okay.
So this is the exemplification of vision, people. Vision, people. But we're talking about relationship, and he was very clear. As women, we have to grow our patience. In other words, we should grow into a place of limitlessness. Am I saying it's easy? I don't think so. I'm thinking as a lady personally, I'm like, we always have this threshold. You feel like I am going to work at it, and then at some point, if it doesn't work, I swear I'm just going to leave. I'm going to let this be. And in our world, I'm not going to say people leave.
Okay.
But sometimes they give up without leaving the relationship. They give up.
Okay.
I've seen people like in marriage. It will be in my neighborhood. It will be in my family setup. It will be like you feel like you used to be a certain way. Now it feels like some inner dropped off. Yes, you are still in this union.
Yes.
Our world expects you to
forbearing
be together. Yes. But we are more exemplifying Taurus. You know, the other day I was saying to myself, like, why is it sometimes in marriage, it's as if single people look much more, look more energetic and more happy than marriage. Yes. So, what is that we can do better? Intention living with intention, building a relationship around intention. Now, I'm going to let you speak.
Maybe, Carol, just as before we get off this topic of intention, and intention is not achieved.
Yes.
Intention is promulgated from the beginning.
Yeah, propagated.
Or propagated. Yeah. Now, you cannot collide with intention afterwards. That's why, like today, let me speak about Africa because I'm an African.
Yes.
We prepare so well for the wedding, but we don't prepare so well for the after wedding. And even the topics that they keep telling you are shallow.
Yes.
You get it? So the intention of why someone is getting into this marriage is just because someone is this, he is this, me, I want this, I wanted this hunk, I wanted this guy, but the aftermath is not always taken care of. So the intention, like as we conclude this, the intention as you're growing up should come from the day one. It's not going to find you anywhere.
Yeah.
It should be your mind set up to get into this with intention.
Someone said, I'll borrow their words.
Okay.
You apply yourself every day.
Yes.
Success is the process. It's the process. The one day you see glory is not all of the success. That's just one day. But the process is what makes the success. Sure. So whereas I know in our setup, I said, one time I read a book, first the wedding, then comes the marriage. And this book was very graphic.
Okay.
It would really populate the parts. It had pictorials. Populate the couples when there's a lot of flowers coming through. Dinners coming through. Like it's everything is coming through during dating. And then the marriage. After the marriage, this gentleman who would go by a flower shop and buy a beautiful bouquet. He was reaching home. He just went and plucked some bushes.
Because it has now reached
it was like bushes and just presented like the bushes outside and gave them to the wife, and then the book notified. Basically, they were trying to notify that, and it was both energy. Okay. The lady who used to care about how she cares, how she looks, how she does. She even knows the guy's feed off of the eyes that have told her over and over, but still she just like, you know what? I'm you just had a baby. So how do we fuel? How do we remind ourselves every day? I can say, for a couple, I know you don't speak for both because I know she has an opinion, But how do you fuel yourself even the day you feel lower? Because I want the parts of you that some days you wake up, you don't feel like it.
It has
You
happened to me.
feel like, Lord Jesus, today I need to get a leave just for one day.
Okay, Carol.
Yeah.
One time, let me tell you.
Yeah.
One time I woke up, and trust me, it's me that told her.
Yes.
We are not going to live anymore.
Okay.
And you know, after this whole beautiful wedding, I wish we could show you some of the clips.
Yes.
After all this beautiful wedding,
Yeah.
I reached the next day and I told her,
Yeah.
it is over.
What was in your mindset? You're like,
You know, you wake up this morning,
yes.
like I told you, remember?
Yeah.
That men, that is when we come out.
Yeah.
Men lose focus.
Yes.
It is natural. Men are disrupted.
Yes.
Because you wake up and the person that was looking that beautiful photo, that beautiful profile, and it's not what. So you start comparing, right?
Yes.
There is. We used to call them we used to call them like some beetle comes around.
Yes, like a beetle shows
a
up.
beetle shows up and like, did I even make a mistake? But what now keeps you into this thing is number one.
Yes.
The promise.
The promise.
Some of us have heard this word from the day we're brought up.
Yes.
The word promise, some of us took it as even as an omen. If you
Yeah.
broke a promise, it became an omen.
Yes.
So every time, like, I wake up and I'm like, I feel like it's not working out.
Yeah.
And I remember the promise. I'm like, look at how I made a promise.
Yes.
So that
Remind
word
yourself.
promise has always kept me
Yeah.
coming back again.
Yeah.
To keep it and so that I put it to the end.
Yeah.
Because I know how it means to live behind the promise.
Yes.
You know, for us, we make the promise, you live behind the promise. Now, you look at this vulnerability of this
Yes.
person with a promise keeper
Yes.
and comes up to say, oh my God, he broke the promise.
Yeah.
That is
It
what
actually-
must.
Someone said when you break a marriage, it leaves broken people.
Okay.
Like there isn't greener pastures on the other side.
No.
It leaves brokenness. It leaves a lot of wounds, and now it's a newness. It's like nuances of what that means to their years to come. God loves people who are separated. I have to just emphasize. You know, Myers Monroe said, "When I speak marriage, God hates divorce." It doesn't mean that you are there and have had these very, very
Challenging.
real experiences. God doesn't love you. He does. However, it's true that these broken promises leave a lot of, I want to call them, like after the war. What is that? I want that English word.
After war?
Hey, what are those, the people who die along the way? Like they are like, it will come to me, but basically it is like you leave behind broken people. It will be the partner you're with, it will be the children, it will be the families that you all represent and a big part of. So I like when you say the promise. And I always say, honestly,
Sure.
how amazing are young men who are still holding on to the fact that it is valuable to keep promises.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people who are like Bananga, because we cannot trust them. They just are not, they're inconsistent. They can't keep promises. And even, I know that this is partaking marriage, this concerns marriage, but
Yeah.
I'll speak even for those in relationships that are going towards that journey. Someone ever said your husband before you even become.
Actually, before even you come in.
Yes.
But do you understand
and the
this,
other
Carol?
the wife
maybe
before.
for the viewers, do you understand that every day
Yeah.
you're just what you speak?
Exactly.
Every day. Now, if you talk about promise is just you
Yeah.
living by your word.
Yes.
And if you cannot keep your own word, then how much more won't you?
Yeah.
You get that? So I feel in this whole motivation, what I can only remind men or women who are going through so many things.
Yeah.
Some of these men need to be reminded. Some
Yeah.
of these men need to be reminded. Tell
Yeah.
him how he told you this and that.
Yeah.
Much as he will run away from the word, but he'll go back as long he's going through the taxi jam. But my wife reminded me what I told her.
Yeah.
So if only men could keep the promise,
Yeah.
everything else can come back.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how I motivate myself every day. I look into that day, I meet Daisy, and she's all this broken because, of course, I have to admit the
Challenge.
fact that she has come from this challenging relationship, and then I come as the savior, the Superman.
I know,
the
guys like saving, right?
And the lady's like, okay, promise me that you won't be like. So I took a while to tell her what I said.
Let me exemplify her promise. Let me just enact it in my words, and I will use one of the a person ever said, promise me you will not add to the pain that I already went through in my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she says, promise me that you will not. Now, few girls or few ladies want promises.
Yeah.
Most ladies are looking for the money. Most ladies are looking for what they can achieve out of the relationship.
Yes.
But they don't even want to hold on to it.
Yes.
They don't want to hear from this empty man that has simply come to say, Carol, I love you. And I promise I will keep this.
Yeah.
They'll put that away and rush to what does he have? What has he brought again? Kati bino bye bongererako ebyo. Ate ne bibeera bizza kiri ekyandibadde kimujjukiza. Like, sorry to get back into Luganda.
It's okay.
But ne kimwerabiza okuddayo ku nnono. Because without these old things, our words keep.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that motion when the guy says, do you remember when I first kissed you? Do you remember when I first
We are the chiefs of memories.
Now, imagine if you don't have such memory in you.
Yeah.
And you cannot even put it back to him. So promise.
It's something. I can't even overstate it. I can say from my own experiences. And I remember some of my, and this is generically for my experiences. I love to make as many amazing memories as possible. Okay. Because I feel like they are my anchors to life. If things are going bad, I hold on to the memories. I hold on to the success that I've achieved here. And I'm like, if I went through this. So even in relationships, I think that having the anchor, and for me the promise here stands for the anchor. Yes, you promise.
The anchor.
The anchor. You're like, never I'm shaking.
What way you could take?
I'm holding on to that.
There are these times when, Carol, you remember when you reached a moment and you're like, but why would I even continue with this? I'm very sure even you watching us, you have ever reached that moment. But like you look cocker back, I'm putting it the way we used to say, and you look cocker back and you're like, but it's now 10 years into this. It's now 5 years into this. Will I really quit now? You get it? So on promise, there is what we call remembrance. Or what you call now memories. But do you have the capacity to remember that, man, this guy, there is this thing he did for me. And maybe it makes you even forgive him because he ever did something good. So remember those little things. Remember that little biscuit the guy brought under the rain. Remember that cut chocolate and the guy gave you using his teeth and is like, nah. But that makes you flash back and you're like, okay, I think no one else can ever do what Emma did. And I think it's something to
I love his memory. He's so romantic. I mean, I just envy her. But what I can say is that what you put is also the men are creating the memories. I always say that sometimes be careful. You may be living, but you're not creating things to remember. And you're not creating these things that she can say, I remember. And of course, sometimes when you spoke about sometimes we are our focus, and this, especially the lady side, could be I want the money, I want the car. I always remind my friends, every person dating, if you have ever spoken to me, I always say you, why are you excited about the car he's going to keep driving? You get me? Like he'll still wake up in the morning, go into his car and drive off. But you're excited. Like seriously. I say dig deep and get excited about things actually that are shareable. Yes, the car, you'll share it. But if a guy has his Pajero and he's going up country, please, but in that week you won't have it. So it might as well dwell on things that are intangible. But also I think that it's just understanding that things that make us happy are rarely these properties and everything. They ease in our life. And when we work hard, they isn't. However, they are not the main that make. They're
not the core. They cannot be built on. They cannot be the foundation. They cannot be the cornerstones of this relationship.
We could go on and on and on. Now we're going to extend. How does this gentleman extend himself? These promises. Already I know that she receives a Dabashaya. She will tell us one of these days. She will attest to these things. However, you extend your already told us about our faith journey. So you serve in church, socially, you're extending your service there, at work and in the challenging environment. I know I always want to be patriarchal and say, whereas we have so many endeavors to make our workplaces better. And this is our cultural space anyway. Much as it's our workspace, our country, it's our governments, agencies. How are you ensuring that I also stick with the better values of hard work, intelligence, bettering myself, being kind to those around me with the challenges? How do you extend this promise keeper at work?
Now, when it comes to the working field,
yes,
maybe let me start with my challenges. Okay, because the challenges will tell you how I got with it. I have the challenge that sometimes you're smart. Yes. Actually, I know some of you are smart.
Very.
And you're so smart to the extent that you're even smarter than your boss. That's I think one of the biggest challenges all of us who are working face.
Yes.
We get so smart that even your boss reaches an excellence and says you're too qualified.
Yes.
But how are you going to get out of it and maintain this relationship and keep it firm and keep everyone around you respected and keep everyone feel home? Yes. One, realize the capacity of your friends.
Yes.
I endeavor to realize the capacity of my fellow workers.
Yes.
My fellow colleagues as we, you can investigate not straight away, but you can investigate through interactions, and you come to understand that there is one of them that is surely maybe going through a lot. So you empty yourself with rapport, you be courteous to them, and at the end of the day, through that, few people open up.
Very
few people have it inside of them to open up. But your ability to make someone open up to you, it gives you an thumbs up to let them even more closer to you. Then the other thing I've done is being creative. Creativity has given me the ability to sustain my work. My work substance and relations with my colleagues. No, you create up some credibility. Like, for example, let me tell you this. There is one time when WhatsApp group, then we were scratching. By that time we were scratching. There is that moment everyone feels the whole group is quiet.
It's just like...
And now you as the friend who is a bit creative,
very silent.
So you mash up a wrong airtime card by then. I'm talking about then when you used to scratch. Then you write it. Then now when you throw it up, guys have loaded up. The first person to load this is going to get 10,000 airtime. So everyone rushes and is like, now the first reaction is it's not working. Then the other, it's not working. So at the end of the day, through that creativity, guys open up, and then later on you engage them into the right concept. And through that you start now relating with them and you make up something. Some of them I used to create barbecues, points, and tell me, guys, let's go and have a beer, let's go and have a show. So you open up yourself. No one is going to open up to you until you first open yourself. So that I think has helped me to, I'm always open. When you're wrong, I will always tell you, guy, Emma, this day, this is not the right thing you did. And through all that, we come to check up each other.
Appreciate him or not, this is Emma. This is who he is. But I know that you're authentic. I always say authenticity. The last time we spoke with some of our previous speakers, I said sometimes, how do you be authentic and keep the authenticity? Even when you're misunderstood, even when you are critiqued, or even when you're feared as too smart, and I said at the end of the day, showing up authentic or smart doesn't mean that I can't fit in a team.
Exactly.
Understanding my part in the team is important. And I know it's a tough one to keep the energy up, especially when people bring you down. Hello, people. We all sometimes feel the energy is down sometimes, and creativity. However, now we've been creative, we are working, we have been visionaries. I want us to tap on our broken spaces and broken spaces because mental health, I'm not going to say it's an issue. Someone was saying today, I was listening to someone like, these guys are exaggerating mental health. This mental health, you find people have told themselves they are not okay, they have ADHD, attention disorder, now they have a reason for not paying attention at work, at showing up. They have a reason for everything. So he was saying that, this mental health is going overhead. But I want to acknowledge that sometimes we have broken spaces. I will call them broken spaces. I don't believe that people with mentally challenges because they have a broken space. They are dealing, they are coping. Broken spaces, either they are in our childhood and sometimes they show up in our spaces. I use self-aware and to mitigate that. I could have this broken space and this is how it's showing up. And this is how I'm dealing with it to ensure this small little broken boy in P2. I'm not going to say the age because many of us were at different ages in P2.
Exactly.
So but in P2 is showing up in my adult, trying to make decisions in my adult life. How do you ensure that small is not showing up? Just in a brief way, how is your broken space not showing up? Or just you mitigating that, yes, it's broken, I acknowledge, but I'm ensuring it doesn't show up, or I'm coping.
Yeah, for example, like I have a broken space with love.
Yes.
You know, love. I don't know. This is exactly which I would call parental love.
Yeah.
Most of people that have gone through the kind of life I've gone through.
Yeah.
They have it carried on.
Yes.
There is something I want to tell you that haunted me for years.
Yeah.
But I knew it was some mental breakdown that I suffered. I happen to come from humble family.
Yes.
That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
And then I reached to the extent of now living with well-off kids.
Yes.
Now, inside of me, I had some mental brokenness or mental, I think, disability.
Yes.
Was it a disability? But sickness.
It's a broken space.
Yeah. It's a broken space.
Yeah.
And every time I would relate with my colleagues, I had this thing eating me up. I wish I was also.
Yes.
I wish my parents were alive.
Yeah.
I wish. Now, it kept haunting me that I would even feel bad for the little that are blessed.
Yes.
And it would catch me up with envy. It would catch me up with some kind of resistance. Every time, even when someone was looking good, I was thinking they were showing up. Now, that kind of mental gap, that kind of brokenness, today, it is even leaving people.
Yeah.
Today, people are showing it up.
Yes.
Trust me, Carol, you're going to meet someone who has never heard of a child having a car.
Yes.
You get it? Now, he will start grieving inside of him because when you buy your son a car tomorrow,
it's a reminder.
It haunts him and it arrests his mentality to think you're wasting, and they'll talk all wherever ill. But to me personally, this is what I did. When this kept showing up all the time, like every time I would associate with them, I would feel I'm failing in a class. I would start now blaming myself on certain things. But I come up to outgrow this one when I truly believed in myself. You know, I reached a point and I said, I am Emma.
Yes.
It is me. No one else is like me.
Yes. And I'm good enough.
And I credited myself and I said, from there forth, I am going to know that I am different.
Yes.
Do you know that so many people are living other people's lives?
Yes.
So many people are living a pretense life.
Yeah.
So many people are assuming to please society because they're trying to create something they are not.
A persona.
Now, that mental disability grows with them until to certain areas of decision making. And at the end of the day, they make wrong decisions, which are later on discovered.
Yeah.
And you can never hide that in their broken space. And at the end of the day, we get to know them.
I just love that you have ensured you stayed, you felt it, you acknowledged it.
I knew it until
you knew it that this broken space is showing up. Exactly. What we are saying, people out there, and even as we are concluding in our amazing, it's just the start of many more. Yeah. Broken spaces are real. Yes. Acknowledge. I always say I'm one person that I think maybe I will accredit to Mukama, God. I'll accredit to my parents who taught me how to be honest.
Yes.
It's not a fear thing to say, I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid I live this way, and kind of shows up here. And I feel maybe this level of inadequacy at this point. And sometimes it makes me feel this way. And I go back and even I appreciate them. I'm like, you're so lucky. You know, many of us who didn't grow up. When we see you, we are in awe of the opportunities you have. It's amazing. I'm able to appreciate that if you had it, you're lucky. But then also the person whom you thought had so many things, they also come up and tell you their broken spaces. Then I realize actually
it cuts across.
It cuts across.
Much as you think people are well, they're inside wise also struggling with other things.
You're not alone.
So we are not alone.
You're not alone.
And no one is perfect.
You're not alone. But share it. Get the mentorship you require. He has exemplified mentorship. Yeah. I know that everything you are and every value that you're constantly embodying, you are exuding, comes from a space of intention.
Maybe this just as a simple testimony.
Yes.
When I learned that, Carol, I had a group in school that I understood when now I can't realize it when I'm in around Form 6 HSC. Yeah. And then I had to take on leadership of a group of
rich people.
No? vaporished kids. You know, when you're under uniform, when all of us have put on uniform,
we
look the same.
Yes.
But the reality is that sometimes it comes out and we come to know. So I took up a class of certain kind of kids. Right now, they are the doctors, they are the engineers, and they look up to me. And this is what they testify. You helped us believe in ourselves and understand that we were not bad. Because most kids, once that haunts them and that mental gap,
they feel like they are lesser than.
They feel like they cannot even perform.
Yes.
But I kept speaking to them on a daily basis. We used to call it the New Life. Actually, we named ourselves the New Life group. And so we would speak to ourselves every day, encouraging one another that we could do better. That is what happened.
The word of God.
Not really. It wasn't much religious.
I'm just going to say the word of God. And it's okay for you to think. I was thinking about it. When they say it's bread, and it's bread to our lives, but food for our soul. I just say great. I'm just going to exemplify as great words will create great words, mentorship, and all this encouragement. It will create something new. It will uplift somebody whose trajectory could have been different without that word. What I'm just trying to say, the words we speak, even as Christians or as not Christians or as God people, religious people, whatever, the words we speak have the capacity to create or demolish. So I am saying, please, let's continue to empower. Mentored people become mentors. I just love this whole mentorship business. Mentored people, they grow up to be some of the best mentors, and we're going to conclude this. Thank you so very much, Emma, for giving us your time, for giving
I'm glad
us
to be hosted
for
here.
pouring yourself here for us, and just helping our conversators, our Carolliving family to be empowered and to know that we are still breaking these conversations out of the four walls. We are normalizing sharing. We are normalizing being vulnerable and saying we okay. You're not alone. Be edified with all these beautiful words. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And you can give a parting shot, as we say. Keep it at Carolliving.
Friends, keep it at Carolliving. This is the only place actually you'll find all the educative and all the sense that you need to catch up with society.
I know, right?
And I know very well right now some of you are feeling lonely, some of you are getting out of the space, but this is the only show you have to stick on. We shall always be here, and I know Carrie is so passionate to entertain you and give you all the moves that you need to catch